Hello and welcome back to Seek, Gather and Create Week 2. This week we asked you to find cutouts. I've got these lacy paper cutouts from my stash. A seed. I've got some dried honesty seeds from my garden. Texture. I went for this drywall tape, and light green I picked out a couple of light green fabrics. Each week I'm starting off with a vintage photograph as my starting point, and so I'm going to start there. I thought maybe cutting the figure out also lended itself well to the prompt, and so I'm starting there, grabbing my cutting mat and craft knife. Aside from that, I did not have a plan at all for this one, and it did take some thinking. Now, this isn't actually an original photograph. This is actually a photocopy that I have stuck onto some cardstock. I do that quite often when I want to save an original. I will just create a copy, stick it onto some cardstock, age it up a bit so that it looks like the original. So as I'm cutting this out, what I'm doing is I'm just cutting the top layer. I'm not trying to go all the way through. I'm wanting the cardstock to show through in the background to create a sort of white silhouette. As I'm cutting this out, let me just remind you, or for those of you that don't know, Seek, Gather and Create is a free art scavenger hunt that I run over on my Instagram channel with my co-hosts Tina Hoyce and Laura Dennison. We run this challenge twice a year, in the summer and in the winter. This time, every Sunday throughout August, we will post 4 prompts for you to seek and gather, and you can create anything that you like with them, using any mediums, as long as it includes the 4 things. This was proving a little bit tricky to come out in places. As you can see, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to cut through the whole thing. So I'm just carefully trying to get it up. I was trying to save the figure as well because I thought I might use both pieces. So I'm trying to get it out in one piece, and it was proving quite tricky. Nearly there though, I reckon. Just trying to get round the legs a bit. And there we go. Mostly, yes, it's come out. And I really like the silhouette piece, but I also wanted to use the actual figure as well. And this is where I spent a lot of time just kind of thinking and auditioning things around, as you'll see. So the first thing I decided to do was take the honesty seed and stick my figure down onto it. Originally, I was going to do this as a transfer. I wasn't sure that was going to work. It was a bit of a risk. But then you'll see as I go through, I realise that as I stick it down, the seed is actually transparent. So I don't need to do it as a transfer. It shows through on the other side. So I'm just using a bit of matte medium on both the seed and the figure just to stick her in place. And I'm grabbing a spoon just to rub it to make sure it's well stuck and to get rid of any air bubbles in it. Okay. Once that's dry, I'm going to give it a trim, and there we are. You can see by flipping it over, the figure comes through really nice. And here's where I start playing around. I really didn't know which direction I wanted to go. I knew I wanted to use both pieces, and so I was kind of position it round over the top, just to the side of it. Over the top was a bit weird with the white legs sticking out. And I couldn't quite decide as to playing around with some of the cutouts. I grabbed some of the fabric. And sometimes this happens, you just you hit a sort of standstill. It's a great beginning, but I just didn't know which direction I want to go. Did I want to replace the grass, as you see here, like this? That was quite nice. So I contemplated that for quite a while. but it got rid of the silhouette, and I knew I wanted to use the silhouette as well. And then try the opposite, putting the light green in the sky. But again, it just wasn't working for me. So at this point, I decided to just stop the recording and have a good think, maybe go away, grab myself a cup of tea, have a think, and come back and see what I want to do and which direction I want to go. And here we are. So you can see I grabbed a journal. I decided that I was going to work in a journal because then I've got two sides and I can include both things. I layered up the seed with some of that drywall tape and the light green fabric. I really liked that. And so I'm just grabbing some crochet thread and I'm going to stitch that into position. Be quite delicate because the seed is quite delicate. It's strengthened slightly by the glue. But I had to be quite careful as I sort of stitched around. I'm only going to show you a couple of stitches so you can see. I really like the drywall tape, and I would forget about that stuff, but it does create some really great texture. And I wanted to stitch this rather than glue this because I thought that added to the texture. I do love a little bit of stitching in my work. Okay, so that's all stitched on. I'm layering it with some of the other green fabric. And as you can see, I just tore that other photograph down a little so it fits, and it works really well to the side of it. The last thing I'm doing is just placing the lacy cutout, deciding which side it wanted to go. And then I was kind of happy with my layout. I was pleased with that. So I grabbed my strong craft glue and I'm going to stick all of that into place. And I also used a bit of gesso, as you can see, just around that figure, just to blend it in all together. I then grabbed some words from an old book. She went somewhere new. The little blob in the photograph just above the horizon kind of reminded me of a UFO. And so I sort of went with that. I thought that was quite cool. She'd been sort of zapped up and put somewhere else. There we are. So that's my piece for week 2. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you all next week. Take care. Bye.